All right. Welcome to Monday Mojo. Today is Monday, November 23rd. I don't know. I'm on vacation. 23rd sounds right. So we are here with our special guest, Ashley. And I'm like finding out more about her, like even before this call, that we're in like the same state. We practically probably grew up next to each other and didn't even know it. But, she's like right down the road from me. I'm here
Mhm.
visiting Rhode Island. She's from Barville, and she's just going to share her story about her fitness journey and just how it can help each one of us. So if you have questions, you can type them in the chat, and then later on we can, ask them to you and see how it goes. So hopefully we'll just throw it to you, Ashley. So here we go.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for having me. I guess a little background about myself is I was always an athlete growing up. Um, I played soccer year round. That was my sport. I tried like softball and basketball and all that jazz, and that wasn't really for me. So I was more of a runner, but not so good to be cross country. Um, and then I turned 21 and I got into all the fun stuff. I drink, drug, party, and just kind of more or less let it all hang out, let the good times roll. And they caught up with me because I have an addictive personality. So if I'm going to do something, I go hard, full throttle, nonstop. I take it to the extreme. It's a gift and a curse because, when I tidy up, things are cleaner than clean. But when I party, I am a little aggressive, for lack of better terms. So I rode through my 20s, and then I settled down. I'm in a relationship for 11 years, and we decided that we were going to have a child. So I became a mother. And when my son was 3 months old, we moved from Rhode Island to Hawaii. And it was amazing. It was great. And I hadn't put much thought into myself in terms of where I wanted to be because pre-pregnancy, I had already put on enough weight for the two of us. And I just didn't think it. Once I had my son, I think I was like 220 pounds when I had my son. So, and I'm 5'6", and I carried the weight everywhere, everywhere. And it didn't even look like I feel like it didn't even look like I was pregnant, which makes me sad. But, so yeah, we moved to Hawaii and I was post baby and I was still around 175, 180. And I remember I was sitting on the beach in one of those like beach cover ups, but it was cute because it had jewels on it and it was green, my favorite color. And but still, like it was a muumuu I was wearing in Hawaii, the land of a bikini. I was sitting covered, dressed up, and not too embarrassed because I'm like, yeah, this body just had a baby, and well, babes, that was 5, 6 months ago. Like that's not cute anymore. So I had found my coach actually through Instagram, and being a stay-at-home mom and just really focusing on my son, I just kind of let myself slide. And I was like, "Oh, tomorrow, I'm eating better. It'll be fine." But it wasn't. I wasn't eating better. I was just eating less of the junk that I was already eating, which, as we know, is not the healthy stuff. I was eating processed foods, the sugars, the salt, and I'm all heroic. I'm eating a low-sodium diet, and I've got this all figured out, and it was just bad. So when my coach and I started talking, it was right when the 21 day fix was about to come out. So I just said, I'm just going to jump in like feet first and I'm going to do the 21 day fix. My boyfriend was behind me. I said, I'm not doing Shakeology on Home Direct. Like, that's too much money and it's probably going to taste like crap. So I did the 21 day fix and I nailed it. I didn't, again, my addictive personality, I didn't miss one thing. I didn't mess up my diet. I'm a big drinker. I still drink a lot, but I choose more red wine, so that's okay. Um, so I nailed the 21 day fix and I had some of the best results. Like I literally started to have abs. And from there, I just did T25 and I didn't like that so much. I started getting a little discouraged. I went back on my home direct because I did love Shakeology. It's actually really good. Um, so I fell off the wagon because I still drink my shakes every day, but I didn't commit to the portion controls. I didn't I was like, okay, so I did it. I can do it again if I have to. It's not a big deal. I know that if I need to fit in that little black dress, I can do a round or two, a 21-day fix. No big deal. But then with falling off the wagon, I realized my mood started to suck, and I started to, eat the crap foods again. And it was a vicious cycle because now I guess I was never very intuitive about how the foods that I'm eating is affecting my personal life, or how I emotionally react to things. Because I was completely new to the nutrition side of things. So my coach made sure that I got into personal development. And this was before I was even coaching. She took like the right steps with me, make sure that I was building up myself so that I could help myself and others eventually. So then when I realized that I was starting to kind of be in a foul mood, and just I would get like, I don't know, more out of whack, a little less drive to do stuff. So still, I was in Hawaii. I didn't want to go for the walks. I didn't want to go running. I'm like, gosh darn, it's because I haven't exercised in a long time, and I'm not following a good food schedule. So I started up the 21-day fix again, but I'm like, God, I already nailed that. I want to do something else. And then I think I did Les Mills Combat, and I didn't stick through with that one all the way. And then I ordered P90, and I didn't do that one all the way. And I was like, gosh, I'm starting to see this pattern with myself. Like, I need to pick up the pieces. And one of the biggest problems that I have is I'm a binge eater. I'll do 3 days, low calorie, low like food diet, and I'll be okay. I'm jazzed. But then I realize that I'm restricting myself so much that I'll go crazy the next 3 days, and I'll make up for all the food that I didn't eat. And then I will add some more just in case I decide that I'm not going to binge eat again. I'll have enough cushion for later. And it's a very vicious cycle. And I was trying to explain it to one of my friends, and she's like, just don't eat it. I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, when I get the bag of chips, I could have two, or I could have the whole bag. And since I have the whole bag, I'm going to eat the whole bag. There is no off switch. It doesn't stop. And it's not like I'm full. My brain doesn't get that. Like, okay, you can stop. You had a couple chips. You're good. No, my brain's like, I ate the bag. I licked the bag. What can I do with the bag now? Not going to feel itself. So, and it's really hard because I have a 3-year-old that likes the snacky stuff, like the goldfish. You buy the big bucket of goldfish. I'm like, I'm so screwed because I'm going to eat the whole damn thing. So the binge eating, I still struggle with that a lot. I'm better now because I just try to use, I guess the other part was I didn't use my portion controls all the time. Now I'm just, because I know I'll go to the wayside, I use my portion controls with everything. I pair it with everything. But I don't think that people understand how detrimental it is for your nutrition to be correct with the workouts that you're doing as well. So then I was like, I'm going to make up for it by doing doubles. And I was training for a half marathon, but it's fine. And I was still binge eating, and then I'd let it go, and then I wouldn't eat for 3 days. And I actually thought about that. I had taken some, oh yeah, this is good. Some of those Chinese pills that you can get off of online. I don't, because it's not good for you. Like, I would be sitting in the sun just shivering. I was the skinniest I've probably ever been in my adult life, but probably the sickest as well. And I kind of compare it to that. Like, it's my own way that, like, I'm trying to repair what I did by, like, I'm supplementing my Shakeology for what I should be eating in food value. So then I was pairing that, like I said, with double workouts, and it was just a mess. And it's a real big balancing act for me, because I don't trust myself around food, and that's hard to do. So, like, I have to limit the times that I go out to eat. I have to limit, like, if I go to my friend's house, I know there's going to be like a smorgasbord of food. I literally have to say no, that I can't eat that until I figure it out, and that's tough. Like, the holidays are coming up, and I dread it. I with every inch of my being, I dread it because it's really hard. And people just when they have the off switch, they're like, just don't you ever feel like you're going to throw up? I'm like, no, I don't. And when I do, it's way past, that's 9 bags of chips ago. Um, so that's my hardest thing is binge eating and drinking, because like I said, we do drink a lot with my friends and everything. And I'm also a people pleaser. So it's really hard for me to say, and go to my friend's house with all the food and they're like, oh, have some. I'm like, no, 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 no. I don't. I'm always like, okay, sure. Will that make you happy? I'll do that. That's no problem. I'll eat all your donuts. That's cool. If that's what you need me to do, I will do it. And it's really hard, like, for me to be like, no, sorry, I can't come over. I have to figure out my nutrition plan. I have people I need to talk to. I have to meal prep, because it's kind of like I'm letting that, well, not that I'm letting them down. But I'm letting them down. But would they care if I said no, that I didn't want to come over and eat your popcorn and donuts? Like, probably not. But I just don't ever say no. It's uncomfortable for me to say no. And that is probably just as bad as my binge eating. I'm a binge yeser, to the core. Mm-hmm. So I guess, like, when I think about my past, it really stresses me out, because and this is where I reflect a lot back on, like, when I'm trying to think about, like, my food and where I want to be. I guess I don't necessarily need the abs, but I have goals, and I have a son that I want to play with, and I'm an outdoors person, and I enjoy life, and I'm an extrovert. I love being around people. If everybody's laughing and having a good time, like, I'm in good spirits. And when I'm not on point with everything, you just kind of feel like, I have a black cloud above my head, and I don't feel right. I don't feel good, and I don't need the abs or anything, but I need to sustain a healthy lifestyle for me, because I know that my son, I can already see he's got the personality like I do. If he needs Teddy Grahams, he wants the whole darn box of Teddy Grahams, and I don't want him to take that footpath, because it's a very, very deep footpath to follow. And although I go in and out of it, I had sent Peter some pictures, and there's a couple of them that I sent, and it was literally the difference of 2 weeks. So I had to let myself go, and then arrange myself back in with my portion control and my eating. And I was like, I had posted it on my page. I was like, this was, yeah. So the first picture is my 21-day fix. That's post baby and 21-day fix results. And I was super excited, because I hadn't fit in those. I don't know why I picked those pants to bring to Hawaii, I guess with the hopes that I was going to get back into them. And finally I did. I was just like, yes, that was the bomb.com. And I just felt like, you can see it in the picture on the left of me, like how I'm just kind of like shrinking back into myself and like hunching over, like, I don't know, what is that guy, Igor or something, like, and I just remember taking that picture, and I was like, oh, I look better. Like, you can't even tell I had a baby. Oh, like, how naive. And then I had sent another picture, and it was 16 days in between the two. And it's because I let myself go. I let myself eat whatever I wanted to for about a week. Doing moderate exercises, because I still do my fit club every Tuesday and Thursday for an hour. And when I reined myself back in, I was like, okay. I had just taken some pictures on a whim, and I was looking, I was like, oh, holy heck. Like, what did I do to myself? Yeah. So, like, that other picture is, they're just 2 weeks apart. So I know that I can do it. It's me sustaining a healthy lifestyle that is where I'm working on the deepest. Like, my why, I feel, is always changing. That our coaches tell us to dig out the why, and what are you doing this and why are you doing that. And my why was to be a stay-at-home mom, and I wanted to stay home with my son. I wanted to be healthy, and I wanted to be active. Now my why is changing, because I'm not a stay-at-home mom right now, but I'm like, that's not as important as figuring out myself, so that I can better guide him as he grows up to be the kind of person that he wants to be. And instead of saying yes and pleasing everybody else, please yourself first, so that you can follow through with your goals, because I don't like, I'm a slacker. I'm a procrastinator. I mean, it's real life. I've done workouts with my son clawing at my legs, and I'm so frustrated. I'm crying. I'm like, this sucks. And I hate diets, and I hate workouts, and I hate life, and I hate the color that my bed sheets are. And, you know, it all comes crashing down, and I'm crying. And I'm like, this is the worst day ever. But it is literally that workout that you do. You never are upset that you did that workout. Like, you have to nail it. And if I could just give one piece of advice, is to anybody, like, when you think that you can't do it, you just have to do it. It is so easy to get lost in the, oh, so I didn't do it today, I won't do it, won't do it. But I'm constantly like picking myself up and motivating myself. And my friends are like, you're so motivational, that's so awesome. Meanwhile, my other friends are sitting on the side of me drinking a beer. This one's holding my chicken wings that I'm going to eat in like 10 minutes. And then I'm like, happy motivational Monday, everybody. Like, but then I'll go back on and be like, oh, happy motivation. I totally ate like a bucket of wings and beer, but I'm going to go nail my workout. The little acid reflux because I ate buffalo. But I mean, it's real life. That's just the person that I am, and growing and connecting with that for me is I have to take baby steps. And especially as a mom, it doesn't always work out as planned, but I do the best I can. And when I feel like the rest of the world is looking at me like I'm doing everything all wrong, I just got to look at myself and just know that if I did it once, I can do it again. And, you know, that's kind of what I keep myself motivated as. Set a goal far out in the distance and just make little notches until I can get there. It's really what keeps me going. So that about sums up my story and how I try to keep going. So since I've started Beachbody, I've kept off, I think I'm totaling like 43 pounds now. Come and gone. And yeah, let's hope they stay away. And that doesn't include like my binge eating. I stay within 5-10 pounds mostly, but yeah, I've kept off about 43 pounds now, and that's in about a year and a half. So, that's about it.
Ashley, that's awesome.
Thank you.
I think you're phenomenal.
Thank you.
Personally, I think that's awesome. I mean, just, you know, because I hear so many people like talk about the very same things that you talked about that you were struggling with as reasons why they don't start.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, you know, I want to be with my friends, or I don't trust myself around food, or like this or that. And I'm just curious to know, like, what was the thing for you that just lit the fire under your butt that took you from that, like, I'm sitting on the couch to I just got to do this for myself?
You know what the biggest thing was? I was like, I wanted to look good for my spouse.
Yeah.
Body after baby. Now he's the type of guy who does construction, so he doesn't, you know, he's like, oh, whatever, I have abs and I sneezed and they're there. And I'm all like, and I weighed more than him. I was like, that's not good. That's not good. Like, I was embarrassed by it. And I was like, I don't want him walking on the side of me. And he's never once said anything about it. But looking back, he's like, well, you were a little heavier, but you just had a baby. I'm like, I don't want you to make an excuse. Thank you. Or that, oh, you carried it well. It was fine. Like, no, I didn't. I saw that. I'm looking at the same damn picture you are. It's not good. I didn't carry it well at all. But that was the biggest thing. Like, I wanted to look good for my spouse. And I think that that's something that everybody should want, to look good for the other half. Because like I said, he never put me down or like acknowledged that I'd been gaining weight. But this is somebody that has to see me every day. And I not that I am afraid of him having wandering eyes, but that's how that happens when you fall out of touch with yourself and the person that they fell in love with. And I didn't, especially being in Hawaii, I didn't want to lose that. And that's kind of what keeps me at bay the most.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really powerful. And if anybody else has comments or questions, feel free to take yourself off of mute and jump in the convo. I saw, as Ashley, you were talking, there's a lot of head nodding, acknowledgement of like, yes, we've been there.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley, I was really enjoying hearing you talk about your struggles. That's a weird thing to say. But it's very relatable. And as Michael knows, you know, I'm sort of where you were when you did your first 21-day fix, where you were like kind of flying high and you're like, yes, I'm doing it and it's awesome. And as you were talking, I'm like, this is a cautionary tale. You know, this is something, you know, that it would be so easy. Like I'm addicted to Dr. Pepper. And I have been actually treating myself like an addict. And yeah, so it was just very helpful for you to be so open and share your, just the struggles you have with food, because sometimes you feel alone. You know, it's very easy to be like, well, these other people had success and there's no way that that's going to work for me. Or you feel like, well, I've done it. It's over. It's past me. And then it sneaks up behind you. So thank you so much for sharing what you did. And yeah, it was great. Also very inspirational to see what you could do in 2 weeks.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I know. Like my body is like, I have to play catch up.
Yeah.
So, but the Dr. Pepper, I love that. And that's one of those things like I can't have a little bit because I'll have it all. It was 4 years ago, actually tomorrow, that I quit smoking cold turkey because I was just like, this isn't good for me. Yeah. Gone, done. And that's like, if I could just figure that out with food, it'd be great. But that's not my reality. I can't escape food because that's like, you need to have food. I can't run away from it. Therefore, binge eating and anorexia and all that stuff, that makes it so hard because it's something that you need to live. You know what I mean? I didn't need the cigarette, so I got rid of it. Yeah. And obviously you don't need Dr. Pepper either, but it's
I don't know about that.
It's hard. Like, it's one of those things I have to be like, I can't touch it because will binge drink a whole case.
Yeah. You know, I was drinking about 64 ounces a day.
Ooh.
So
that's up there.
Yeah, it was not really pleasant for a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
But I feel much better now.
But it is. Like, you have to find the next program that's really going to take you to your next spot. And that's what I struggle with. I'm like, nothing will ever compare to 21 Day Fix because that's my homegirl. Like, that's what made me nail it. I'm hoping the hammer and chisel is going to do it for me. Like, that's going to really solidify it. But it's hard. You have to find the next best thing.
Well, and I think you're right, like finding the program that you really connect with. I always tell people this, that when I don't feel like working out, I do Rock and Body.
There you go.
It's just so silly. Like, Shanti is like, it's not the Shanti that everyone else knows.
Right.
And he's just so silly, and it's just ridiculous and fun. You did say that you didn't really connect with Focus T25, but that's my program.
Oh, is it?
Like, I love it so much. And like, I started with P90 and all this other, you know, like not P90, it was Power 90, like way back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I remember being like, oh, Tony, you're embarrassing me. It's like you're my dad. Like,
I love him. See, I'm a Tony Horton. I do not like doing T25 Insanity. I did that and then stopped 2 days later. I'm a Tony Horton girl, and I can't even get into T25. I struggle. I'm like, oh.
I don't know why. I think it's because it's only 25 minutes long. I'm like,
I do like that.
I can do anything for 25 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do want to clarify, I do love Tony. But I remember, like, I went through several of his programs, and sometimes I would just be like, Tony, shh, I'm busy. I'm working for you here.
Yeah. Exactly.
I love them all. And you haven't lived until you've worked out with Leandro.
Oh, is that Brazil?
Oh, I haven't.
I love that. It's ridiculous. Like, I just want him to keep talking. Like, that's the opposite of Tony. I'm like, keep talking because you're making me laugh while my ass hurts.
I'll have to try that.
Brazil butt lift is kind of like ridiculous, but it is very effective.
Mm-hmm.
I did see some before and afters for some of my girls. I was like, that's pretty impressive if that's all you did.
I have never been more sore in my life. I mean, there.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm curious about a couple other things also, particularly about the whole time issue. Like, Ashley, was that something that you really struggled with, like making that decision of like carving out your time, or were you one of those people who just like had all the time in the world and you were like, what should I do with my life?
Um, well, when I was in Hawaii, I was very organized. I got up in the morning, I cleaned, I went out for a walk with my son. It was always nice weather, so you actually wanted to be healthier out there because it was cheaper to be healthier at the farmers market, and I wanted to be outside. So I had plenty of time, and I did my exercise when my son napped. Done. Came home, and then I decided to go back to my work part time, and then it was just like the game of Jenga crashed down. I pulled out the last stop, and I had to get up early to work out, and I'm not a morning person, so that went right out the window. So I usually don't work out until 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Not ideal, but when I'm on board and I'm making things happen, then that's what's going to happen. It's not easy, and I literally have to make myself work out because time isn't of the essence when I'm here, because I'm pulled between getting laundry done, getting my son, meal prep, all the jazzes of life, and making sure I get it in. So right now, and with Fit Club, it's got to be specific times, and it's never before 9 p.m. that I get a workout in.
I think that's great. I mean, just that you just know like, well, it's got to get done, like no matter
Yeah.
what, and
Yeah.
you just find a way.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'll go sit down and eat.
Yeah.
So.
And we'll easily eat for a half hour instead of work out for a half hour.
I know, isn't it crazy?
I don't have time to work out, but I do have time to eat this bag of chips for a half hour.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what's even crazier? I don't watch TV. I don't watch television. So if I sit down, like I play games on my phone, and then 10 minutes later, I'm like, I'd be a third of the way done all my workouts. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Facebook. Ugh. But I'll delay it, but I always usually get it done.
Yeah. Yeah. And then earlier you mentioned that your coach recommended some personal development books. And I'm curious to know more about like what specifically were they and how did that help you? Because I think that's a huge part of a fitness journey is just getting your mind in the right place. So, could you go into more about that?
Yes. She was just kind of new as a coach as well. So she gave me like the top three that I think that everybody does. The go for no, eat that frog, and something else that was right up there. And I read them. I feel like I took them in, but that was more of day by day personal development for me. So I took what it read for that day and I used it that day, and then I let it go. And I kind of like bless and release. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I used that page for 2 days, and then as I got deeper into it, instead of the magic of thinking big. So that was, yeah, exactly. So that one was really good. I'll probably reread that one because I don't reread things. I can't. I'm in a book club, but I refuse to reread things. So I did that, and then I was like, I came to this big point where I was actually in the middle of like a soul searching journey. I felt very lost, very. I guess I could have brought that up in my talking. I was very lost. I didn't feel like myself because I was making this big transition with my health, with my personality. As I'm trying to build my business, I'm realizing that for me to be positive and upspoken, I'm very naturally negative and sarcastic, and I like to not like belittle people, but kind of like that's how I grew up. Like we make fun of you. It's that New England like hardcore attitude. Yeah. So I grew up just very sarcastic and trying to build a business. Well, you catch more flies with honey than you do with a pile of cow biscuits, So I felt really, really torn about that. So that's when I started doing like finding my own kind of 4 agreements. I read some, there we go, some books on crystal healing, the journey of my soul. I started going for deeper things, and I would just pull bits and pieces from there. I still read like the other like highly recommended things because they make sense as far as business goes and that. But I'm at the point right now where it's more like it really is very personal to me right now, and I take notes and I knock it off. And I was reading a paleo, and my coach told me, she's like, you'll know when you hear something that's in the title. She's like, you'll know if it was meant for you. And if you don't get it in the first 10 pages, then put it to the wayside and come back to it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I think that's awesome. It really is just about developing the whole person.
mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was waiting to see if you mentioned any other books I had with me. It's like Flip the Switch.
Nope, I haven't read that one.
Or this one, You're a Badass.
No, I haven't read that, but I just finished The Girl Boss, and I love that because
I'm here for the week. You want to borrow it?
Ah, I just might.
So, or this one I just got. Thanks to my coach.
Motivation.
Yeah. The Manifesto.
Oh, okay.
Motivation.
Ever.
So,
That one is good?
yeah, my coach reads it all the time. That's Michael.
All right.
Yeah, Michael was my coach, but Michael and I go way back. So we were just Facebook friends, and he was reading it, and I was like, oh, hey, I'm just going to pick that up and read it. And then all of a sudden I found myself back here.
It's true. It's true. Like,
I'm going to write that down.
Side door there.
You can also write down The Charge.
The Charge.
Yes.
Brendan better pay me some royalties or something.
Affiliate program. Between you and I, we probably have sold a lot of things.
Oh my gosh. I love personal development. It's my favorite.
I do. I love like when you get those good little one quotes and you're just like, that's my life. They nailed it. That's me in a nutshell. And I'll be like, it's like usually 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I have to be up in 4 hours. But I'm like, oh, it's so good. It makes so much sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wake up and I'm like, that didn't make half as near sense now. Like I write notes to myself why I felt the way I did when I felt that. Otherwise, it's gone. It's gone. I bless and release.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else, guys, that you had questions about or comments? Ashley's awesome presentation.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you.
She did a great job.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Pete, I feel like for those who are watching the replay, they didn't get the explanation of why there's garbage behind you.
It's not garbage. It's my parents' prized possessions.
I didn't, I can't really see what it was, but it looked full. But I just thought it's office, right?
Yeah, it's their clutter room.
Oh, yeah. Catch all.
My brother and his whole family are actually on their way up right now, and so I got kicked out of the guest room, and I'm sleeping in the basement. So I'm on my air mattress actually right now with my little stand. So
it's Rhode Island living.
Yeah.
See those tins of those like butter cookies?
Yeah, those were so good as a kid.
I know, when you're a kid and then you open it up and it's actually just like sewing supplies.
Oh, yes.
They're empty right now. No cookies in them whatsoever.
Yeah, all those Christmas tree hooks. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Why weren't you sugar cookies?
Oh.
Yeah. Awesome.
Great. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap the call up. Ashley, you were awesome. Your story is incredible, and I just love how cool you are, and I know that you're making such a huge difference. One of the cool things about what you're doing is not only are you making your own transformation, but you are choosing to expose your life to other people and to share your journey. And I know that is just making your life all of it richer for it and affecting so many people. So, when we see other people accomplishing things that we want to accomplish. Just everybody know, like, the whole point that we're doing these Monday Mojo calls is to see if they can do it, so can we. So for everybody who's watching this replay, just know that your dreams are possible as well. You can do this. And you've got a whole community cheering for you. So, Ashley, thank you again, and I'll show you I'll upload this to YouTube, and you are more than welcome to share this with whomever you like, with your team, and I look forward to seeing your progress and cheering you on.
Great, thank you.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.